Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Get there fast. Leave even faster.
Welcome to Rogers Center. This is the final game of this 9-game homestand. The Blue Jays 6-2 on the homestand. Atlanta won last night, and they swung the bats well. 10 runs on 13 hits, and a home run from Freddie Freeman. Brian Snitker in his first full season as the manager for Atlanta, and their record 17-22. Take a look at the lineup. Ender Inciarte, top of the order. Brandon Phillips, Freddie Freeman, and Matt Kemp. His last 15 games, he's been on fire. 369 average, 24 for 65. 10 extra base hits. And Dansby Swanson, all of a sudden, he's got a 7-game hit streak. And a rough night last night in the field, but on base, he was on base 3 different times. Did a good job for the Braves, and they're trying to figure out Marco Estrada, who's been terrific here at Rogers Center.
Has he ever? He goes for his 3rd win in 4 starts. He overcame a tough first inning in that last start to beat the Mariners with 6 innings. The only danger and damage he had in that first inning was a 2-run home run by Nelson Cruz. He settled down and shut out Seattle on just 1 hit over the next 5 innings. That home run snapped a home scoreless streak of 13 1/3 consecutive innings for Marco Estrada for his career. Marco's 4-1 with a very good 2.95 ERA in 11 games versus Atlanta, including 5 starts. So he gets the call this afternoon, trying to get the Blue Jays back onto their winning track.
Estrada is set. Inciarte, the leadoff man. He was 1 for 5 in the game last night. Had a single and scored in the 6th inning. Estrada is set, and here's the first pitch of the ball game. It is in there for a strike, and we are underway. Unusual start time here at Rogers Center. Some of the people just making their way into the stadium. Bunted up the third base line. The only hope is that that's going to go foul, and it won't. Inciarte drops down a perfect bunt for a leadoff single here in the first.
That ball stayed true on the grass here, the carpet. Darwin Barney was playing in, but it's just a perfect bunt, and as a third baseman, you just hope there's enough English on this thing that it's going to roll foul, but by that time it just hits the bag and it'll go as an infield hit. Helpless feeling for a third baseman.
Yeah, once you see it that far fair, you just can hope it rolls foul. That one did. This is Brandon Phillips. He's playing second base. As the original lineup, he was the DH, and the third baseman, Adonis Garcia, he was scratched from the original lineup, so now Phillips is DH. They've shuffled their lineup somewhat. There's another strike to Phillips. Brandon Phillips, he has the most experience against Marco Estrada. He's 9 for 25 with a couple of home runs.
He is just 15 hits shy of 2,000 for his career. 1,885. The game yesterday, Brandon took it over.
Looking for that changeup. He was sitting on that changeup and fouled it straight back.
He got it, and he got a little bit too long in his swing. That's the key pitch for Marco. Obviously, the changeup in the first inning. In his last start, he had trouble locating that changeup and getting it down.
He has had some problems in the first inning, really getting his command of the strike zone and getting those pitches where he wants them. And he's aware of it. 0-2 to Phillips. Brandon just fouls that high fastball off. Once again, looks like he's sitting soft, even with 2 strikes.
Teams are starting to do that now against Marco Estrada. They got the game plans, and they look at the film, and they know that he can go to that changeup at any time, so he'll slip that fastball by the hitters a lot. Started throwing a few more curveballs in his last start to offset that.
Looked like a high cutter that time. Still up in the zone a little bit more than he would like.
Going to have to get it down. I look back at his numbers this season in the first inning, and hitters are hitting .250 against him. He's had 32 at bats. He's given up 8 hits. Just that 1 home run, the last one in that start against Seattle when he gave up the 2-run home run to Nelson Cruz.
Again, he's fighting his location. You see, try to go down. Just takes a while for a starting pitcher to get settled into the tempo of the game. You have all your warm-ups down in the bullpen. You walk in with your catcher. You sit down, you towel off, you get a drink, and then you go out, throw your 8 pitches, and it's not enough to get acclimated to the game mound.
And you're on a different mound. It might be a little bit different.
Phillips going through a tough time right now. In May, he's just 4 for 38, a 105 average. No extra base hits so far in 10 May games.
Getting a little long. He got a little bit long on that last swing.
Fair ball. Just over Barney's glove. Out to left field. Carrera throwing the ball back into the infield, and Phillips has another hit against Marco Estrada. A bunt single and now a double. Nobody out.
I mentioned that he had a .250 batting average in the first inning. That's the 5th double that he has given up in the first inning this season. The 6th for Brandon Phillips. Change up. Again, down this time, but Phillips stays behind it. Just out of the reach of Darwin Barney for extra bases. Now they have to deal with Freddie Freeman.
Braves scored 2 in the first in last night's game. Nick Markakis with a 2-run single with 2 outs. Now Freddie Freeman, he homered last night. A 3-run home run in the 6th. There's a good fastball right where he wanted it.
Get that one up above his hands because he can extend. Look at these numbers for Freeman, and one of the reasons why that batting average is so high, he hits the ball all over the field. He's not a strict pole hitter. He can foul off tough pitches, and if you look at his spray chart, the hits go all over the field. There isn't just one dominant part of the diamond where that ball ends up going for Freddie Freeman. And there they are, 17 to center field, 13 to left, 14 to right. So he sprays. That's a true spray chart.
Inciarte was over 3/4 of the way home. They're playing the shift on Freddie Freeman, and Estrada had to step off the mound and chase him back.
So Darwin Barney, the third baseman's got to come in a little bit more. Watch this. There's nobody around him. You're taught to get as far off of third base as the third baseman. Look at this.
That's interesting. Inciarte just kept walking. Ron Washington, you can bet he was saying, go ahead, go, see as far as you can go. 0-2 as Freeman fouled that last pitch back. Freddie Freeman's just 27 years old. This is his 8th big league season. Barney just a little bit closer to third now.
He even sprays his home runs around the ballpark. He's got 5 to right, 5 to center, and 3 to left field. He's just a good hitter.
Well, it's interesting too. He chokes up about an inch on the bat. You don't see that from a lot of power hitters, but he has great bat control, and that allows him to hit the ball from foul line to foul line. Up in the dirt. This is a tough middle of the order for any pitching staff. Freeman, Kemp, and Markakis. John Gibbons saw the impact of those 3 hitters last night. Kemp had a 4-for-4 night with a walk.
Like a cutter that he tried to get in on his hands. That's where you want to throw your cutter. If you're a right-handed pitcher to a left-handed power hitter, right in on his hands, you're going to try and jam him, try to get him to hit a ground ball to the first baseman, or get a strikeout.
Can't hit those pops over the playing field. That's what Estrada's hoping for. A shallow pop up on the infield, something to finish off this at bat.
When he jumps ahead of hitters 0-2, like he did against Freddie Freeman. He's been able to put him away this year. He's only given up 2 hits all season long after an 0-2 pitch.
That 9th pitch is a changeup in the dirt. He's trying all different parts of the strike zone and out of the strike zone. Enter Inciarte with a bunt single. Brandon Phillips followed that with a double down the left field line. Nobody out. Got him with the curveball. First one on the ball head. What a timely call by Luke Maile. Nothing else was working. He says, how about the hook? And he strikes out Freddie Freeman.
In his last start, he threw a few more curveballs when he felt like the Seattle Mariners started sitting on that changeup, and then he throws a beauty there to get a tough hitter. He didn't show that pitch to him the whole at bat until he got to 3-2.
Here's Matt Kemp. Over his last 15 games, he's batting .369. That's raised his average to .346. He had a 13-game hit streak snapped on Sunday at Miami.
Came back with vengeance in yesterday's game. You can tell these Atlanta Brave hitters are sitting on the changeup. Just their approach at the plate, there's hardly any movement when the pitch is delivered. So they are sitting on something soft.
Kemp has delivered in these situations. Kevin Seitzer and Jose Castro, the 2 hitting coaches. Check swing. Estrada really battling, boy. If he can get out of this jam, 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Be a big feather in his cap. He gave up 2 runs in the 1st inning last time out. 2 runs on 3 hits, including the Cruz home run.
Got to think this one through. He had a great sequence against Freddie Freeman. There's the scouting report from Kurt Suzuki to his fellow catching mate.
Liner into left, and that's going to get down for a hit. Both runners coming in home, and they're going to score about 15 feet apart. Inciarte and Brandon Phillips. Phillips read it perfectly and saw that it was going to drop in the outfield.
Blue Jays haven't been able to figure out Matt Kemp. 4 for 4 last night at 3 runs scored. That was a great read by Brandon Phillips, the veteran at second base. Carrera, the left fielder, is going to lay back on this line drive, and Phillips reads single. It's a one-hopper right to him, and there's no chance to throw him out at the plate. He almost caught Inciarte.
Yeah, Phillips does a great job here. Inciarte did the right thing too, with the possibility of that being caught. He went back to 3rd to tag up. So 2 more 1st inning runs for Atlanta. They had 2 in last night's game. Nick Markakis drove in 3 runs last night. He was one of 5 Braves hitters to get hit by a pitch last night. There's that changeup for a strike. The last major league team to get hit 5 times in a game was the Oakland Athletics way back in 2001, playing the Angels. Markakis takes it through the left side of the infield into left. Nick Markakis, that's his first hit against Estrada. He is now 1 for 4.
Something about the Blue Jays that brings out the best in Nick Markakis. We have seen him hit tons against the Jays. This time he just slaps the ball the other way, right between the 3rd baseman and the shortstop. Nick likes what he sees when he comes to Rogers Center.
Markakis has always hit well here. He spent 9 seasons with the Orioles before going to Atlanta as a free agent.
307 here, 303 for his career against the Blue Jays. It's a lot of at-bats, too.
Still just 1 out, and Tyler Flowers, the catcher, batting in the 6th spot. He has never faced Estrada. But look at those numbers. .352 average for Flowers. First pitch strike. Blue Jays in desperate need of a double play.
They got the right guy. If he can get the ball on the ground, he's more of a fly ball type of hitter. Get the ball in the air. Got to get one on the ground right at an infielder.
Ball on a strike now. Estrada has thrown 26 pitches in his first inning.
Here are the numbers that I was talking about. He's had career sub-3 ERA in 11 games, 5 starts versus the Braves.
Drumsticks, ice cream bars.
A lot of these Braves are putting up good numbers over the last stretch of games. Flowers has 9 RBIs over his last 12 games coming into this start today.
Marco talked about the first inning after his last start, saying, I've had some trouble in the first inning. Might have cost me an extra inning in my last start. He threw 6 innings and just gave up 1 hit after that first inning. He says right now I'm having some trouble locating and getting through that first inning. There were some hard hit balls in his last start.
Steve Pearce made a running catch away from the infield to make the final out of that first inning in his last start. Fly ball to left. Carrera is there. That's the second out of the inning.
That was a great 3-1 changeup. I mean, he dug it back down in his hands. Had a great arm speed on it, and it stayed on line and just messed up with the timing of Tyler Flowers. If he can get that changeup working to go along with his fastball and curveball, he'll be fine. That thing comes off of his 2 fingers in the middle of his hand and just slows everything down towards home plate and messes with the timing of that hitter.
This is switch hitting Danny Santana playing in right field this afternoon. Santana 0 for 9 since joining the Braves. He was acquired on the 8th of May in a 1-for-1 trade with the Minnesota Twins. He was designated for assignment by the Twins. He got off to a terrible start. It's just 147 in 13 games.
He's another one of those players that have had great career numbers against the Blue Jays. Remember, there was a series a couple of years ago in Minnesota where everything he hit found the hole. Came up with some big hits. Speaking of those numbers, there you go. Career versus the Blue Jays. 8 RBIs and 6 extra base hits.
This is going to be foul into the seats down the right side. Came up with the Twins in 2014 and hit .319 that season. Had 7 homers, 40 RBIs, and was 20 for 24 in stolen bases. But he's never been able to recapture that form. Estrada ahead 1-2. Santana gets a piece of it. 33 pitches for Estrada in this first inning.
Said that was the problem that cost him going deeper into the game in his last start.
Another fly ball to left. Carrera is there, backing up a couple of steps. The inning is over. For the Atlanta Braves, scored 2 runs on 4 hits. Legal pair, 2-0 Atlanta. Blue Jays got to dig out of an early hole. They fell behind in last night's game 2-0 and could never recover. They lost that 10-6. Let's take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons Blue Jays today. Kevin Pilar, top of the order. Jose Bautista, Kendrys Morales, and then Justin Smoak has been really swinging a hot bat. 16 games. He's hit .333, 5 home runs and 15 RBIs over those 16 games. And right behind him, moving into the 6th spot this afternoon, Devin Travis had a good homestand. .375 with 7 doubles.
Blue Jays will face Jaime Garcia, who was picked up in the offseason to give the Braves some veteran stability. He's also giving them some innings. Batters hitting only .237 against Garcia this year. 1-2 with a .433 earned run average. He lost his second game of the season last time out. That was against Houston with a season-high 5 base on balls. In fact, that was 2 straight starts that Garcia had 5 straight walks in a game. But he's had great numbers in his career against the Blue Jays.
Kevin Pilar takes a first pitch strike. Pilar batting .310. Trying to crowd him, and they do. They got that ball in on his hands.
Garcia has a sub-2 ERA in 3 career starts versus the Blue Jays. He's a left-hander, just cuts the ball in, sinks the ball away, doesn't really wow you with the radar gun. In fact, his ball moves all over the place. Sometimes he throws it not even sure where that ball is going to be going.
Having some trouble getting on the same page. Take too long for Pilar. He asked for time. High breaking ball. Pilar started against Jaime Garcia back on June 8th, 2014. At that time, he was the platoon player. And he was really looking forward to the start against Garcia, the left-hander, an opportunity for him to play. He said, I was so anxious I struck out twice against him, and I don't think he threw me a strike all day.
That's right. Yeah, and I told him about that today, and he goes, please do not show any of my video of my swings that day because they were ugly. I said, well, we might show one of them today. It won't be too bad.
Garcia in that game allowed just 3 hits over 7 innings. Turns that ball over and gets the strikeout, 1 away.
That's what I mean about it. He just doesn't. He throws the ball and it just moves. He's got a great sinking action. When he's on, he's going to get a lot of ground ball outs. He can cut it and sink it. This is the sinker. Look at that thing go down and away from Pilar.
1 out. Jose Bautista batting second in this lineup this afternoon. Kendrys Morales is next. Jose had his first 3-hit game of the season in last night's game. He went 3 for 5, and an RBI double, and then scored in the 9th.
Starting to drive in some runs now, too, for the Blue Jays. He's 9 RBIs in his last 6 games. He's starting to pull the ball with a little bit more authority, getting the head out.
All of his 5 home runs that he's hit this season have been with men on base. 2-0. He's not happy about that. That looked like ball 3, and he couldn't get his bat out of the way. He's been terrific taking his base on balls, and like he always does. He does a great job of seeing a lot of pitches during each at bat.
Just couldn't lay off of this one. Tried to check his swing. And as a hitter, you're just fortunate that that ball doesn't go out onto the playing field.
There's ball 3. Jose is 4th in the American League and walks with 25. Right on the inside corner. 3-2 now. Kendrys Morales waits on deck. Bautista having a discussion with Scott Berry, the home plate umpire.
Just wanting to know some clarity on where that ball was. How much of the plate did it get on the inside part of the plate?
There's ball 4. A 1-out walk. The Atlanta Braves this season have committed 24 errors. In the outfield, Kemp is in left, his 25th start, and Ciarte, a very good center fielder, and then Danny Santana making his first start in right. On the infield, Jace Peterson starts at third. He was at second in last night's game. Swanson and Phillips up the middle. Freddie Freeman has played all the games at first, and Tyler Flowers does the catching for Jaime Garcia.
This is a good team that's good up the middle defensively, and this is one of the reasons why. That's Brandon Phillips. He led the National League second baseman 3-time in fielding percentage. He also had a career-high 107 consecutive airless streak in 2014. He's a 4-time Gold Glover. They got him from the Reds. Just solidified their strength up the middle of the diamond.
So 4-time Gold Glover. Terrific defender, great range, quick hands, very acrobatic in the field. Kendrys Morales with the count in his favor, 1-0. Round ball. Swanson to Phillips, back to first, double play, and that 1-out walk is erased on the double play. Blue Jays go quietly in the bottom of the first. Atlanta behind Garcia with a 2-0 lead.
We may see some familiar faces back with the big club on this upcoming 7-game road trip. Troy Tulowitzki, who's rehabbing from a hamstring injury, went 0 for 2 as the DH with single A Dunedin today. And once manager John Gibbons gets an idea of how Tulowitzki felt post-game, he said that'll help him determine when Tulo returns, now likely Thursday in Atlanta. As for Josh Donaldson, we haven't seen him in game action since April 13th. He's been suffering from a calf injury. He does need to get into a rehab game sometime this week. The hope was to have him back for the weekend in Baltimore. John Gibbons says still deciding when his rehab game will take place this week. Finally, Russell Martin eligible to come off the DL on the 18th from that nerve issue in his left shoulder. His status still up in the air as well, although Gibbons said, quote, he is making very good progress. So, Buck, today's starting lineup could be vastly different once the team returns from Milwaukee, and for good reason.
Absolutely, Hazel. Thank you very much for the update. I watched Russell take batting practice today, and he was swinging free and easy. Of course, the problem is not hitting. It's when he receives the ball. He did some catching today and got the arm in the works. This is Jace Peterson. Hits it high and deep to center. Pilar's got through and makes the catch. That's almost a blasé catch for Pilar. Like, really? Oh, well. No problem.
I'm still putting a star there because he went a long way to go get that thing. 2 change-ups. He went 0-2, tried to slip a fastball by him, and Peterson got it. There is Pilar. He was shallow and shading into left field, so he goes a long way. Never takes his eye off that ball. He knows exactly where he is on this field. Hauls it in right in front of the 400-foot sign.
Well, you're right. He ran a long way to get there and made it easy. Number 9 hitter is the shortstop Dansby Swanson. He's got a 7-game hit streak, batting .320 over that time. Swanson had a couple of RBIs. He had a sacrifice fly in the 2nd, RBI single in the 4th, and had a double and scored in the 6th.
They're going to just keep running him out there. They got him from Arizona. He was a high draft pick. He's their future shortstop. There's no danger of going down to the minor leagues. He's going to learn right here at the big league level.
He's reached base in 17 of his last 18 games. When you're in the position of Atlanta, they have turned their roster over. They have cleared the books, some big contracts. They've got some flexibility now in their approach. They've got some youth, and they're just going to let these kids grow. There's a cut and a good one.
You know, what more can you learn down in the minor leagues? This is where the best players are, and talking to some of the Atlanta people, he's got the makeup to handle some failure at the big league level as he learns. A lot like Kevin Pilar. Kevin Pilar was a young player and had to learn, and he had to adjust. Nothing you can learn down in the minor leagues. May as well learn it right here.
Second strikeout of the game for Estrada.
Buy 6 cans of Beauty Tone paint and get the 7th free. Available exclusively at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Beauty Tone, Canada's color experts.
Roof is closed at Rogers Center. Hopefully when the Blue Jays come back after this next road trip, there'll be a lot of open air baseball here. Ender Inciarte showed bunt, slaps it to left. Herrera is there, and that'll do it. Good inning for Marco Estrada. He needed just 9 pitches to retire the side in order. Justin Smoak, over his last 16 games, has hit .333 with 5 homers and 15 RBIs. And they compared Smoak's start this year to his start last year on this same date.
He had 3 home runs and 11 RBIs, so he's basically doubled his production. He's not striking out as much. He's getting more starts. Remember, he was playing, you know, he'd be in, then he'd be out sparingly. It's tough to get into any kind of rhythm when you're in the lineup and you're out of the lineup. He's playing every day this season, and the production shows.
He's really been swinging the bat right-handed really well, and he's anxious to have a few more at-bats today against another lefty. 8 home runs, 25 RBIs for Smoak.
He looks good from the right side. He's hitting over 400 from the right side with 4 home runs and 10 RBIs. There are the numbers right there. But he's got that little hitters where that front shoulder goes down and he tucks his shoulder and stays on that breaking ball.
Tough pitch to swing at, 2-0. Down and away for a strike. Good sink on that fastball.
If I was facing Garcia, I wouldn't look for anything straight. Everything cuts and sinks and tails and goes down. He's trying to get you to get the ball on the ground. Trying to work quickly.
On the ground, but Phillips is there at second. Smoak out 4-3 on the ground out, 1 away. Jaime Garcia making his 4th career start against the Blue Jays. He started against them as a Cardinal. And you see his numbers pretty impressive over those 3 starts.
14 pitches per inning. That's an impressive number. You got to make him get the ball up. Again, he wants to live down there in the strike zone. He wants you to swing at that and just keep hitting it down into the ground. Make him get that ball up. Think about trying to hit that ball back through the middle.
Here is the red-hot Devin Travis. 9 for 24 on the homestand with 7 doubles. He's got 12 doubles for the season. That leads the Blue Jays. Devin had a rough spring. He didn't have many at-bats in the spring because he was rehabbing from that knee. He had 13 at-bats all spring long. He hit 130 in April as a result of no ABs in the spring.
We didn't see him that much in spring training on the field, except for the last 10 days or so of spring training. Started coming out, started to be able to move around just a little bit more, take ground balls, hit on the field, played just a couple of games down in Florida.
He was very iffy if he was going to break with the team to go north for opening day. 2-1. Ground ball, Phillips to his left, and he has it from the edge of the dirt. Throws Travis out. Garcia's got that sinker working early.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV.
Darwin Barney. This is his 33rd game. Barney done a nice job filling in second base and third base. This is his 19th start today at third base. Hazel May told us we might see Tulowitzki and Donaldson back within this next week or so. Tulowitzki DH today, which is kind of interesting. He's obviously not going to DH with the Blue Jays, but he played last night and DH this afternoon.
He'll be back. I think we'll see Tulo when the team is in Atlanta for a couple of days, and that will be good. Get one of those regulars back slowly but surely. They're starting to get healthy. John Gibbons has a full complement of his ball players. Darwin knows all about Jaime Garcia. He's faced him enough, most on the Blue Jays.
5 for 17 with a home run. Of course, Darwin played in the NL Central with the Cubs. Breaking ball pulled foul. This is where Darwin Barney really shines with 2 strikes. The major league average for hitters with 2 strikes is 172. Darwin Barney is hitting over 240, which is incredible. With 2 strikes, he really becomes a tough out.
Major league average 172 with 2 strikes.
Puts the bat on the ball. Peterson at third across the diamond in time. 3 ground ball outs for Jaime Garcia in the second. Atlanta 2-0.
To win the TD Comfort Zone contest on any Tuesday, post a video or photo of you showing your Blue Jays spirit along with hashtag TD Tuesday and @BlueJays to Twitter or Instagram. For details and rules, visit bluejays.com/TD contest. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. An opportunity to get seats in that TD Comfort Zone for 4 big, beautiful, comfy chairs and a perfect vantage point. Brandon Phillips had a double and scored a run in the first. Phillips now 10 for 26 against Marco Estrada. Missed with that first fastball downstairs.
You know, there's only been 4 second basemen in Major League history with 2,000 hits, 200 homers, and 200 stolen bases. Brandon Phillips is trying to become the 5th one to do that. Joe Morgan did it. Robbie Alomar, of course, did it. Greg Biggio and Ryan Sandberg.
Drives this ball to right. Bautista giving ground. Makes a nice running catch just on the edge of the warning track. One away.
Phillips trying to become the 5th one to do that. He's over 200 stolen bases. I told you he's 15 hits short of 2,000. And he is just shy home runs. He just needs 4 more for 200 home runs in his career. He's had a great career.
He has had a great career, and on top of that, fine defender. Freddie Freeman steps in with 1 out. Freddie Freeman is one of the best hitters in all of baseball. And if you look at the OPS leaders for the last 2 seasons, Freeman top of the heap. OPS over 1. Joey Votto just under 1. Daniel Murphy of the Nationals and Chris Bryant of the Cubs. So fly ball to left. That'll stay in the ballpark.
Some of the big sluggers in the National League right there. Freddie Freeman. When you say slugger National League, you think of Freddie?
No.
No.
Yeah.
He's under the radar.
And that's unfortunate. But he is truly a slugger. He's just a smooth slugger. You don't go up there. You don't think about him just being a guy that pounds the ball out of the ballpark, as you illustrated earlier. He uses the whole field.
The whole field. He has a high batting average, high on-base percentage. Just a nice little piece that the Braves can build around.
Blue Jays got to figure out what to do with Matt Kemp. Been on base all 6 times he's come to the plate here at Rogers Center. They're going to have to drag him onto the charter to take him out of here.
Might want to stay. You know, for everything that we have talked about Estrada having problems in the 1st inning, it's the 3rd inning where he's had problems, but not this time.
They finally got Matt Kemp out. He lines out Marco Estrada. A good inning in the 3rd. Just 6 pitches in this inning. Trying to get some of those pitches back.
Continue tonight with the NHL's Western Conference Final between the Anaheim Ducks and the Nashville Predators. This series tied at 1 game apiece. Game 3 live from R.A. Dickey's hometown of Nashville, Tennessee. And the former Blue Jay wanted me to pass along a big shout out to his Predators. You know he'll be watching somewhere, but in this great country, you can catch it at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on CBC and Sportsnet.
P.K. Subban of the Predators, of course, showing a great run in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Predators, boy, they're getting some great goaltending, that's for sure. Ezekiel Carrera bunts it, but Garcia's off the mound in plenty of time and makes a good play of it. Carrera couldn't get it past the pitcher.
The all-new 2017 CR-V. With revamped cargo space, it's the biggest fan yet. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Good way to spend an afternoon with your parents, coming to a ball game. Probably even got to go to school and then got to check out early and come down to Rogers Center. Ryan Goins, .217 average, 3 homers and 13 driven in. Goins facing Jaime Garcia for the first time. Another bouncing ball. Swanson coming across in front of the bag at second to make the play. Garcia got that sinking fastball working early.
Well, if you're the Blue Jays, stay close. I think that should be the game plan today against Jaime Garcia and the Atlanta Braves. Innings 1 through 4, he's almost untouchable with an ERA under 2, but then innings 5+, it's up around 9.5. So stay close, get an idea of what he's trying to do to you. He's cruising right now, first time through the Blue Jays order. Stay close, see if you can get him in the later innings.
Luke Maile, the catcher. Maile did not start in the game last night as Mike Ullman got in that ball game, and Ullman got his first big league hit. Ullman had an RBI single in the 4th. Another ground ball. Blue Jays haven't gotten anything out of the infield yet. Garcia's rolling with that sinking fastball.
It's Country Day presented by Jack Links. May 28th, the first 20,000 fans will receive this Blue Jays cowboy hat. You'll also enjoy a pregame performance by Southtown and the WestJet flight deck. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com and join us for an afternoon of baseball with a country twist.
Good looking hat, and make sure you come out. There'll be a lot of activities going on, so put you in the spirit of that Country Day. 2-0 Atlanta. They scored their runs in the first inning, as once again a big 2-run single in the first inning. Matt Kemp doing the honors, his 19th and 20th RBI of the season. This will be Nick Markakis, who had a single through the left side of the infield his first time up.
Nick's never been a guy who's hit a lot of home runs. He sprays the ball all over the place and really keeps it in the middle of the field, and that's why you see the Blue Jays defense. They really bunch him in the middle. Darwin Barney way off the bag at third base in that hole where he got that hit last time, going shading him up the middle.
That's a foul ball, just wide at first. Markakis is now 33 years old. He was born in Glen Cove, New York, but grew up in Georgia. He went to Young Harris Junior College, and the Orioles drafted him out of junior college as a two-way player. He was a pitcher and a hitter. I remember I was in Baltimore at the time when he came to have a tryout after they drafted him and signed him, and I said, boy, this guy's too skinny to be a big league hitter. And he has been a good one. This time he strikes out on that high heater.
I had the same thing when I saw him for the first time. He was out here early one day when he had just been called up from Baltimore. Just didn't have that strength that a mature player has, and he just couldn't get the ball out of the infield, but he's turned into a nice player. That's a four-seam high fastball, changing the eye plane against Nick Markakis. Marco comes up with his third strikeout.
Tyler Flowers flying out to left field on a changeup toward the end of the bat. There's another base hit for Flowers. He stayed inside it and singles it into center.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV.
Overcast day in Toronto. The roof is closed. We had a little bit of an open air atmosphere on Sunday, Mother's Day, but that was during batting practice, and before the game started they closed the roof. Danny Santana, the right fielder. Good cut at that first pitch.
Marco's done a good job here the last couple of innings of keeping his pitch count down, helping him to get a little bit deeper into the ball game.
Had a 9-pitch second inning and a 6-pitch third inning.
That should offset what happened in the first inning when it took him 34 pitches to get through that first inning.
Santana, a switch hitter, is 26 years old. The cutter just stayed up a bit. Chase that high fastball.
Marco's got one of the best ERAs in his home ballpark around baseball. Under 1 here at Rogers Center this year. This is his 4th start here. And he can get a lot of strikeouts.
He is so comfortable pitching in this ballpark, and it can be a difficult park to pitch in, but he's put up those good numbers against Boston, Baltimore, and Seattle. Pretty good hitting ball clubs.
Very good hitting ballparks, averaging almost 11 strikeouts per 9 innings here at the Rogers Center. He's got 3 of them this afternoon.
Weekly hit. Estrada will go to first, and Flowers moves to second on the ground out, 2 away. And Flowers moves into scoring position. Santana's retired on the ground out back to the pitcher.
He just heated him up with fastballs that time and just said, I'm going to knock the bat out of your hand, and that's what he did.
Changeup into dirt. Chase Peterson hit one a long way to center field, leading off the second, but Kevin Pilar ran it down just shy of the fence in center. Pulls this one past Smoak into right. Bautista is going to come up throwing. Here's the throw to the plate. Not in time. Ball gets away from Maley and goes into the dugout. And that'll be another error, an unfortunate error for Bautista, one he didn't deserve at all, but it went off the catcher's mitt, bounced past Estrada, and went into the dugout.
Yeah, Jose will be the one getting charged with that error. But the Braves did a good thing. Peterson did a good thing. He said, I'm going to trade an out for a run. He just kept running. Jose throws all the way home, and when it bounces by Maley off of his glove over the backup man, Estrada, that's going to be 2 bases for Peterson. But he said, you know what, I'm just going to just keep running to second base and make him cut the ball. And if they cut the ball, we'll get a run. I'll get in a run down. If not, if they don't cut it, I'll be in scoring position.
Peterson now at third for the number 9 hitter, Dansby Swanson. So Peterson picks up an RBI on the base. It is 7th. It goes to third base on the error by Bautista. That's the 3rd error charged to Bautista. And 2 of them very unfortunate. The one he got the other day, he hit the base runner sliding in to second base. He made a perfect throw, but he hit the base runner in the foot and cost him an error. Just a little flare. This is going to be trouble. Smoak down and can't make the play. Drops in foul territory.
Never have a problem when a fielder makes an aggressive play and an error happens. It's when they make bad plays and you question things. Smoak, that one's just out of his reach. But when you're making an aggressive play like Jose did there, there's nothing you can say about that.
Nope, took a bad hop off the catcher's glove. And then to compound things, it got away from Estrada, who was backing up the play. 0-2, 2 outs on Swanson. He struck out on a changeup his first time up. Rookie has been fairly productive with those 6 hits, 10 RBIs. 3-0 Atlanta. Boy, he is zeroed in on that changeup, and he didn't move a muscle.
For a young hitter, he's sitting on a changeup. Marcos tried to pull a string against him a couple of times. Maybe he tries to throw a fastball by him here. If he senses, and Marco does a good job of reading bats and reading the batters, what they're trying to do to him.
Curveball for strike 3. So that curveball has got him out of a couple of tough situations, but Atlanta takes a 3-0 lead. Top of the order for the Blue Jays. Still looking to get a ball to the outfield. 8 ground ball outs. Pilar will lead things off. Then Jose Bautista, who has walked. Morales grounded into a double play. Blue Jays don't have a hit yet.
baseball dreams? How about a signed baseball bat from Russell Martin, or out for dinner with Kevin Pilar? How about a VIP experience at Rogers Center? Rogers wants you to submit your baseball dream at RogersCelebrates.com, and your dream could come true. But
Thank you very much, Hazel May. That's a good idea and a good opportunity to spend some time with the Blue Jays. That young man dreams to be Bautista. All three of them decked out in their Bautista beard, trying to bring the Blue Jays some luck. Blue Jays got to figure out Jaime Garcia. 8 ground ball outs, first time through the order.
Get the ball up. He led the National League in ground ball percentage last year. It's like Marcus Stroman was there in the American League. It was Jaime Garcia who led the National League in ground ball percentage.
What would you do hitting against Garcia? First time through the lineup. He's gotten those ground balls.
Well, if I saw that he's on and he's got the ball down and he's throwing a lot of ground ball outs, I would move up in the box, try and catch it before it drops to the lower parts of the strike zone. I try and think about hitting the ball back through the middle. Just get on base anyway. Let's put him in the stretch one time. He was in the stretch in the first inning after walking Bautista, but then he got a ground ball double play, and that's another thing that he induced 21 double plays last year, tied for 5th in the National League.
There's a hanger, and he jumped all over it. Pilar heading around first, going to second base. Garcia left the pitch up, and he knew it. That was trouble for him. A leadoff double for Pilar, his 12th. Enjoying those comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests from one of TD's community partners. Welcome to the ballpark, and you just witnessed the first hit for the Blue Jays, a double off the bat of Kevin Pilar.
Wait for that ball upstairs, and he got it. It's a good start.
Jose Bautista walked against Garcia. Jose's got a home run against the lefty. He is 2 for 8, going head to head. Bautista looking at his hand as if it slipped off the bat. At the bottom of the zone, and Bautista thought it was low. 0-2. Home plate umpire is Scott Berry this afternoon. Bautista had a good look at several pitches in the first when he walked. Blue Jays hitters, only 2 have reached Bautista in the first. Now Pilar here in the 4th. Bautista hits it on the ground. Pilar has to hold his ground. 1 out.
Hit it hard right at him.
Another ground ball out for Garcia. I don't know how many more breaking balls we're going to see from him. That one he tried to sneak by Pilar resulted in a double.
Yeah, that was his curveball. Throws a fastball 30% of the time last year, sinker 33% of the time, change up about 20% of the time, and he'll mix in a curveball every now and then. That last one he hung to Pilar. Jose upset with himself.
Boy, Flowers is doing a nice job of catching that low strike. He caught that one with his thumb down and just kind of elevated ever so slightly. Give the umpire a good look at him.
Well, he's tough to catch, Garcia, because even he's not sure where the ball's going to be moving. Cannot throw a ball straight.
Ground ball. Peterson at third. Pilar is going to advance to third. But Morales grounds out. And Pilar, he's heads up. He recognized that Peterson was going to have to take his time and make a strong throw, so he just inched off as Peterson was getting set to make the throw.
Yeah, you're told you can't advance on a ball to the left side of the infield if it's to your right, if you're the runner at second base. But if that third baseman is playing deep like that and has to go to his left, he's vacating third base. Pilar read it beautifully and made sure that he was throwing to first base, then he can move up. Now he can score on a wild pitch.
Justin Smoak grounded out to second. Bounced into dirt. Blue Jays trying to get back in this game. They trail 3-0. They have just one hit so far against Jaime Garcia.
Trying to cash him in with a a 2-out base hit. He's in a good position with 2-0. Pick out something to hit it hard.
Just on the inside half. Garcia has allowed just 4 home runs this year. Wilmer Flores hit the first one. Giancarlo Stanton hit 2 off of him in the same game. Boy, that ball was diving, isn't it?
Diving. Right underneath the bat at 90 miles an hour. He'll stay in the low 90s with that fastball, but it's the movement that makes it so impressive.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Pilar at third. Flowers and Garcia actually had a few situations where they couldn't get together on what they wanted to do. Again, Garcia not liking the offerings of his catcher. That's why you move up 90 feet when you can.
He shook to that slider. He was going to try and backdoor it. He just threw it a little bit too hard that time. Came out of his delivery. Get on base for Devin Travis. Travis swinging it.
Now they're set. Full count to Smoak. 2 away. Ball 4 in the dirt. Pilar will hold at third. So 2 aboard now for Devin Travis. Travis, as we mentioned, has had a great homestand. He's hit a bunch of doubles, and in fact, he is leading the major leagues for doubles in the month of May. He's got 10 doubles this month.
Get the right guy up there. This is the guy that the Blue Jays want up there. He's got some extra base pop. He's had 1 home run, 10 doubles this month, 12 for the season. He's starting to hit the ball with a little bit more regularity, hitting a little bit harder.
Pilar hit his 12th double to start this inning. He and Travis tied for the team lead in that department. Swinging a drive. This ball is going to get down all the way up against the wall. Pilar's in to score. They're going to wave Smoak. The throw from the shortstop. He double clutched, and Smoak's going to score. Dansby Swanson, the shortstop, got the relay throw in pretty good shape. But he double clutched, and that allowed Smoak to slide in safely.
There you
Travis
go.
does it again.
That's the guy you wanted up there. The big at bat was Justin Smoak walking, keeping this inning alive. getting Devin Travis to the plate, and he cashes yet another double. Blue Jays been driving the ball, hitting the ball harder when he's left center, right center. That's when he is at his toughest. Picks on a cutter out away from him, head down, drives right through that thing. And that thing takes off into the outfield. When it hits the wall, dies against the wall. There's the relay. Swanson has a little trouble getting that ball out of his glove. Double clutches a little bit. That allows Smoak to circle the bases, and the Blue Jays have made it a one-run game.
Darwin Barney grounded out sharply to third his first time up. Takes one low. Garcia went 9 up, 9 down. Actually had a walk and then a double play in the first, but then had 6 straight ground ball outs through 3 innings. Pilar got a hanging breaking ball to start this inning with a double. 2 ground ball outs and then a walk and a double. Jaime Garcia has had this pattern. It just changed for him a little bit earlier today than normal.
Innings 1 through 4. Again, one more time, the ERA under 2. But from the 5th inning on, Blue Jays got to him a little bit earlier than the 5th inning today. Second time through the lineup in this inning. They've gone double, walk, double.
Garcia has his scoreless innings streak against the Blue Jays and snapped at 12. That goes all the way back to 2011. But it comes to a screeching halt here in the 4th.
Doctoring up that mound just a little bit now after that pitch got away from him. 3-1. Darwin can sit on one pitch right here and see if he can tie this game up.
Kevin Pilar got it started. Then Smoak, as Pat mentioned, a big 2-out walk. Set the table for Devin Travis. Another walk. The 5th inning showed up early today for Garcia.
The batting average against goes up against him. We showed you that the ERA goes up against him. His ground ball percentage off of his fastball goes down from the 5th inning on. So some adjustments being made.
Ezekiel Carrera dropped down a bunt his first time up, and the pitcher Garcia got off mound quickly to the first base side and made a good play on it. Fouled off. Marlins strike to the left fielder. Blue Jays have tied it. Well, see, they are run short. It's 3-2 as the Braves got a run in the top half of the inning.
They have made things tough this inning. We mentioned the leadoff double by Pilar, but Bautista hit his ball hard to the shortstop. Morales hit a hard ball to the third baseman, and Peterson made a great play on that one for the second out. Walk, double walk, and that's where we are right now.
A ball and 2 strikes to Ezekiel Carrera. Travis at second, Barney at first, and there goes Travis, and the ball is in the dirt. They both move up. A double steal. Travis got it started. He was antsy at second, got a good read, and when Garcia didn't check him back, he took off.
He wasn't paying attention to him that whole at bat. He was just giving him one look and going home. Same thing over and over. Travis picked up on that, and the Blue Jays execute another double steal.
Stolen base number 4 for Travis, number 2 for Barney.
Blue Jays have been daring on that base path this homestand. They had a execution of a double steal at home the other day. That was Devin Travis doing that.
2-2. Fouled off. Blue Jays hopeful of getting back the left side of their infield within the next week, 10 days. Josh Donaldson and Troy Tulowitzki. Of course, not only are they the left side of their infield, they're 2 of the big bats in the lineup.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Russell Martin shouldn't be too long. Get him back.
I think Russell is eligible the 18th.
I believe so. Another 2-2 pitch in the dirt. Flowers does a good job to keep it close at home. As far as the construction of the lineup, John Gibbons doesn't have many options, so you have 2 lefties back to back here in this situation. Daryl Siciliani has just been added to the roster. He's another left-handed bat. The outfielder has just joined the team from Buffalo. 3-2 to Pereira. He strikes out, but the Blue Jays close ground on the Braves. Devin Travis with a 2-run double. 3-2 Atlanta as we go to the 5th. Now time for the Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zahn from the Samsung Broadcast Studio.
Better place to watch the action than this season? Then at Rogers Center. Come watch your Blue Jays as they battle it out against their division rivals. Visit BlueJays.com/GamePacks.
Thank you very much, Hazel. You can get all sorts of different combinations of tickets and seats for the rest of the summer. Hard to imagine we're halfway through May already. Leadoff man Ender Inciarte shows bunt. He has bunted for a base hit and used that slap bunt his second time up and flied out the left field.
This is game 40 this afternoon, so 1/4 of the season just about gone.
In case you're just joining us, the Open, we talked about the Blue Jays record a year ago and how they were 19-20 a year ago, 17-22 this season. And after the dismal start to this season, everybody kind of forgot about last year's bad start as well. Pretty similar in
very similar
the way they were playing.
And the Blue Jays got to the playoffs last year after that tough first 39 games. The biggest difference was the starters for the Blue Jays. Last year they were outstanding. Had an ERA of 3.2. This year it's 4.2.
Last year they were healthy, of course. They only used 7 starters all season long. And I think the biggest thing early on, Drew Hutchison threw one start through those first 39 games, and it was 5 consistent starters, day in and day out. Blue Jays have had to overcome the injuries to 3 starting pitchers this season.
So that puts a little bit more pressure on the bullpen. They played a lot of very close games.
That's a fair ball. Smoak will go right to the bag and step on the bag to retire Estrada. Beauty Tone, Canada's color experts, available exclusively at home hardware and building center locations. One away, top of the 5th, and as he has done most of the time this season, Marco Estrada has settled in nicely after a rocky first inning. Brandon Phillips 1 for 2. He had a double in that first inning.
Well, that's what you hope for. You know, you give up a couple of runs early and then slam the door shut. Give your offense a chance to win it. Get back into the game. They've done that with those 2 runs last inning.
Brandon Phillips sees the ball well against Marco Estrada. You can see the quality swings he's had, and Marco's trying to figure out how to mess him up. Beat him with that fastball. 91 miles an hour, one of the better fastballs for Estrada.
He went to the curveball twice this game when he needed big strikeouts. We'll have to see what he does here. He might want to save that if there's runners on base.
Fastball. Phillips lines it down the right side. Bautista is not able to cut it off. It goes all the way into the corner. Brandon Phillips with his 2nd double of the afternoon. This one going down the right field line. So that'll bring to the plate Freddie Freeman. So far this afternoon, he's 0 for 2 with a strikeout, but he has gotten off to a great start this season.
How about this? Most home runs through the first 35 games of a season in the Braves franchise history. Hank Aaron hit 16 in 1970. Eddie Matthews is 2nd in 1959. He hit 14. Freddie Freeman's hit 13 this season. Hank Aaron ended up with 38 home runs and 118 RBIs in 1970. Eddie Matthews would end up leading the league in home runs with 46 that year.
Aaron, of course, finished up with 755 career home runs. Matthews with 512. And the Hammer's best home run season, 1971, a year after that great start. He had 47 home runs. That was his highest total in a single season.
In 1970, he was 36 years old when he hit those 38 home runs. Eddie Matthews in 1959, a little bit more comparable to Freddie Freeman. He was 27 years old that year when he hit 46 and led the league. Ernie Banks was 2nd with 45. He is on pace. Freddie Freeman is on pace for 60 home runs right now, the way he's swinging.
It's a high fly ball. Pilar looking up, going to the track at the wall, and Freeman has hit another one. His 2nd home run in as many days here at Rogers Center. A 2-run home run. Another home run to center.
That's 6 this season for Freeman. He's on pace for 204 hits, 116 walks, and 148 runs scored. He's off to a great start this season. Catches another, looked like a fastball that was up, 4-seamer. They tried to go upstairs, just couldn't get it up high enough as he hits his 14th home run of the season.
Matt Kemp makes a first pitch strike. 14 home runs, 25 RBIs for Freeman. Batting average at .338. Kemp's down 0-2.
Fastball up, and he's got that classic home run swing uppercut. Drives it a long way. He's got power to all fields. he's going to like hitting in SunTrust Park because the ball blows out to right field.
One thing you really forget to think about is how big both Freeman and Matt Kemp are. Freeman's 6'5". Nice play by Barney at third. Short hop, throw to first. 2 away. Well, with that home run, Freddie Freeman has tied Aaron Judge of the Yankees for the Major League lead in home runs. Eric Thames of the Brewers. The Blue Jays will see the Brewers on this upcoming road trip, 2-game series in Milwaukee. And Ryan Zimmer, what a turnaround season he's had, hitting for the Washington Nationals. He's hitting about 1 million this year.
1 million? That's awesome. Extra base hits now for Freeman. He's got 11 doubles, a triple, and 14 home runs.
Ryan Zimmerman's hitting .385. Nick Markakis looks at a first pitch fastball. (5-2) Atlanta. Markakis hits it on the ground, but Barney is there at third. Estrada gets Markakis to end the top half of the fifth. Freddie Freeman with a 2-run home run. Atlanta has a 3-run lead.
MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to @That Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Well, the Blue Jays would love to come back and win this game and make it a real good homestand. 6-2 on the homestand at this point. They want to gather some momentum before they go out on the road. 2 games in Atlanta, 3 in Baltimore, and 2 more in Milwaukee on the upcoming road trip.
7-2 looks a whole lot better than 6-3, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, especially when you're trying to claw your way back to 500. So it'll be Goins, Maley, and Pilar for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 5th. He's still got good movement on that fastball.
Well, we talked about it last inning. From the 5th inning on, this is where Jaime Garcia has run into some problems this year. See if the Blue Jays can adjust to that. Get something started. 8-9-1 this inning.
Off the plate. You know, it's really interesting as you watch Garcia. You know, he's thrown 90, 91, but he's got very good sink on his fastball. Then you see Sanchez throwing his sinker at 96, 97. It's a totally different pitch, but the movement is what makes both of those pitches so effective. And you know, if you try to teach a guy how to throw a sinker, a lot of guys can't get the right hand action, and some guys like Garcia and Sanchez just comes natural.
It's just natural. It's the way you throw the ball, the size of your fingers, the length of your fingers, the way the ball comes off the hand. I asked the pitching coach one time, can you teach a guy how to spin the ball, spin it faster on a curveball? He said, no. I said, in his mind, and he's been in baseball a long time, he said, you either can spin the baseball or you can't spin the baseball. So if you're a scout or if you're starting a team, find some guys who can really spin the baseball. I mean, if everybody could do it, everybody'd have a curveball like Burt Blyleven, right?
Yeah, that's what made him so exceptional. The ability to spin that hook. 2-2. Goins hits it in the air to left. Kemp backtracks a couple of steps and makes the catch.
The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Get there fast, leave even faster.
Overcast day in Toronto. Everybody getting ready for the summer, getting their boats all ready to get out and enjoy Lake Ontario. Catcher Luke Maley grounded out to shortstop his first time up.
You know,
ground ball, this one foul.
But to finish up some of that, what we were just talking about, being able to spin the ball. If you could teach everybody to throw a Dave Steve slider, wouldn't everybody on that on that Toronto team be able to throw a slider like that?
You know, that's really an interesting point, because Dave was such a great athlete, and he could do a lot of things. He could run well, could field. He had a great arm. Played the outfield in college.
I'm sure at some point somebody on those Toronto Blue Jay teams asked him, "Hey, how do you hold your slider? Show me how you do it."
Oh,
or
yeah.
the New York Yankees, when Mariano Rivera was there, why didn't anybody else be able to throw a cutter like that? It has to do with their hand, their wrist, the way they hold it, the size of their hands. Just special.
I remember Pat Enkin in his playing days. I mean, he would wear everybody out asking them about his changeup. How do you hold your changeup? Tell me how you hold your changeup, because Pat could never really master a very good changeup, and he always felt like that was one pitch he really needed to master. But you're right, and Jim Acker had probably the best sinker that I ever caught. And big, strong, he had huge hands. And he could throw that sinker at will, and it dropped 10, 12 feet. A lot of people thought he was throwing the spitball. And he just had that heavy sink on it.
It was almost like a splitter.
Yeah.
You know, that's the feel that it had coming in there.
Marty loops it into right. That's going to hang up for Danny Santana. Martin, excuse me, that's Maley. Maley hit it off the end of the bat, 2 away.
So when you see Jaime Garcia, you know, make the ball go this way, makes the ball go that way, I mean, that's just the way that he throws the baseball. And that's something you can't teach. You have to refine that so you can repeat that delivery, and he's found a way to do that.
Here's another pitch from a individual. Juan Guzman slider. It looked like a splitter. It went straight down. And, you know, even I had Blue Jay scouts tell me, boy, he's got a great splitter. So that's not a splitter, that's a slider. That
sounds like the King Felix changeup.
Yeah, everybody calls that a splitter.
Yeah, it's not.
It's 93.
It's 93. It used to be. I don't know if he can still throw it that far.
But lost some of the velocity on it. Kevin Pilar doubled in the 4th and came around to score. It's this one high and deep to left. This one's gonna go. Pilar with another home run. Number 6 for Kevin. Kevin made up for that start against Garcia in 14. He struck him out twice the last time he faced him.
This time he's going to get him for his 6th home run of the season. He jumps all over that pitch. Sinker that doesn't sink. And Pilar puts it in the seats.
It's only the 5th home run that Garcia has allowed this season.
That's how you jump on a pitch right away. Cutter over the middle of the plate. See you later. The super slow-mo brought to you by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV. Pilar makes up for that at bat, or those few at bats that you were just talking about the last time you faced Garcia. And I asked him today, I said, Kevin, how are you a different hitter now than you were the last time? He says, I can look for pitches now. I understand hitting a lot better than I did a few years ago. I was just hacking up there. I didn't know what I was doing. But I've got a plan when I'm up there. I can look for pitches. I can look for pitches in certain places. He got all of that one.
The home runs surrendered by Garcia. Wilmer Flores, Giancarlo Stanton hit 2, and Alan Cordova hit 1 of the Padres. And now Pilar added to that list. Bautista called out on the inside fastball. But the Blue Jays keep pecking away at Jaime Garcia. Kevin Pilar, a double and a home run here this afternoon. Home run number 6, but the Blue Jays still trail the Braves.
Plenty more Stanley Cup playoff action tomorrow right here on the network. Game 3 of the NHL's Eastern Conference Final between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Ottawa Senators. Live from our nation's capital, this series tied up at 1. You can see all the action at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time on CBC. Bye.
Thank you, Hazel. I'll take 2 cheeseburgers, please. 1 for Pat, 1 for myself. Make it 3. I'll get 1 for Hazel, too. Top of the 6th, 5-3 Atlanta. Tyler Flowers, the catcher, will lead things off. He goes after the first pitch and lifts a lazy fly ball into right. Bautista is there. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 6th. I just got a feeling the Blue Jays are going to get back in this ball game. Estrada has sorted things out, and that home run by Freddie Freeman, his 14th, that ties him for the major league lead. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap to good hitters.
And he's a good hitter. This was the inning last night where the Blue Jays lost the game in the 6th inning.
Atlanta scored 4 runs on 5 hits.
So just in case you feel like Estrada starts to lose it this inning, John Gibbons has Danny Barnes up.
That's a good changeup. 87 pitches now for Estrada, but he looks fresh.
He does look fresh. He's not a maximum effort kind of guy on his delivery, and he can throw that changeup all afternoon long.
But look how quickly he gets back on the rubber. And that always tells me pitchers feeling pretty good about their stuff. And John Gibbons and Pete Walker talking about the situation, I'm sure. 0-2. Curveball lifted into the seats. But Marco, he doesn't waste any time. He backs up, toes the rubber, looks for that next signal from his catcher.
Confidence. Put that pressure on that hitter.
Got it. Good fastball. Another strikeout for Marco. That's fine.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Nice crowd here at Rogers Center. This game started at 4 p.m. local time. There are the numbers for Estrada. 2 outs here in the 6th. Chase Peterson had an RBI single his last time up. He ended up at third base on the throwing error by Bautista, which was a tough error because it hit off the catcher's glove, went into the dugout.
He hasn't been able to figure out that changeup this afternoon. Throw him another one.
Little tapper back to the mound. Estrada makes an easy play of it. He's doing his part. Now the Blue Jay hitters need to come back. They get a couple of runs. Blue Jays down 5-3. Kendrys Morales will lead things off. Then Justin Smoak, he has walked and scored. And Devin Travis, he's become must-see TV on this homestand. He'll bat third. Hit a home run with the WestJet RBC World Elite MasterCard, Canada's #1 rated rewards travel card. Lots of fans in the WestJet flight deck having a good time here today. Together since 1992. That was a good year around these parts. Let's take a look at the schedule ahead, brought to you by WestJet. After this game, the Blue Jays and the Braves will fly back to Atlanta to resume the 4-game series at SunTrust Park. Wednesday and Thursday, then the Blue Jays will head to Baltimore, another AL East series against the Orioles. Monday's off in Milwaukee, and then they play the Brewers and Eric Thames for a 2-game set. They come back and have an off day, and then the Texas Rangers are in town for the first time this year. That's always pretty good action, and the Texas Rangers starting to play pretty well.
That's another long homestand for the Blue Jays. We will get to see Joe Biagini, Marcus Stroman swing the bat down in Atlanta the next 2 nights.
Texas Rangers have won 6 in a row. They're just a game under 500 now. Kendrys Morales takes a big cut, swings and misses. Morales has hit into a double play and grounded out to third. Blue Jays have but 3 hits against Jaime Garcia.
He's not picking up Garcia at all. He just keeps throwing that ball off the plate.
Jose Ramirez loosening up for Atlanta. That breaking ball, and Morales strikes out. One away here in the bottom of the 6th. 4 strikeouts for Garcia.
Just didn't pick up the baseball. I didn't throw him a strike. He's going to bounce that breaking ball. Flowers is able to block it. 1 down.
Well, Justin Smoak, he drew a 2-out walk in his last at bat, and that set the table for Devin Travis to drive home 2. Travis had a 2-run 2-out double right behind Smoak.
I think that's the biggest improvement that we have seen from Smoak this year, is his patience at the plate. Last year it was breaking balls down that he was swinging at, or they were throwing fastballs up in the strike zone. He was swinging through it. You're seeing a lot of patience now, and he's getting himself into good hitters counts.
Last year with 2 strikes, Justin Smoak hit 145. This year 217. So he is making the pitchers bring it into the strike zone. You know, it's difficult to hit in the major leagues, but it's nearly impossible when you're swinging at balls. Three-0, right down the middle. Devin Travis, another double. He's got 13. Smoak walks for a 2nd time today. Well, they're going to make a change. Chuck Hernandez, he turned to the manager, Brian Snitker, and whatever he said was, I think that's about enough. Travis doubled off of Garcia in his last at-bat, drove in 2. So they have Ramirez ready down in their bullpen. He hasn't made a sign yet, but I think that's probably going to be it for the lefty.
Unless Garcia can talk himself into this ball game. It looks like Snitker has made up his mind and he's going to go to the bullpen.
It looked like Garcia said, I got it, but he is out of the game, so he'll turn things over to the bullpen. Jose Ramirez will come in. Garcia has a 5-3 lead. He's allowed just 3 hits, but Travis has one of those hits, an RBI, a 2-run double. Pitching change for Atlanta with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. A right-hander, Jose Ramirez, will make his 17th appearance of the season, and he's got impressive numbers.
Yeah, strong arm too. He's got 16 innings. He's got an ERA of 1.13, 15 punch-outs. Ramirez used to be a Yankee, and his last 3 appearances, he has struck out at least 2 batters in every one of those appearances. Hard fastball from Ramirez and a slider that's about 87.
Devin Travis got his average up to 200 for the first time since the first week of April. Like a pretty good pitch. It's a ball and a strike. Sometimes umpires will say too high, too low. That might have been too hard.
96. Looks like it caught the top part of the strike zone, but Devin will take it.
97. Quick adjustment now. Had that sinker ball left-hander. Now you got to gear it up for the fastball.
This looks like it's about 120 miles an hour after Jaime Garcia. When a guy's coming in throwing upper 90s like this, he's got that wipeout slider.
Fastball drilled to the alley in right field. Get up, ball, get up, and off the wall. Smoak's going to stop at third, and Devin Travis is on fire.
He's got power the other way, and his timing is starting to come around. You can see him get to these fastballs now. Earlier in the season, he was missing them. Now he's hitting them with authority. He tries to go back upstairs again with a fastball, and Devin says not so fast. Hammers that ball off the wall in right center field for yet another extra base hit. Into the gap over the head of Santana, and Solarte is not going to catch this one. And the Blue Jays have the tying runs in scoring position.
9 doubles in 9 games on this homestand. Second and third, 1 out for Darwin Barney. He goes upstairs and fouls it off at 98. I'll tell you what, Blue Jays have been shorthanded for a long time. These guys are giving it everything they got.
Everything they got, grinding it out day after day. They've played in so many close ball games. A hit here, a play made there, a pitch made there, and their record could be a little bit better. Tell you what, they are grinding.
One and one out. Barney hanging tough. Devin Travis making a bid for his second home run, inches from hitting it out right at the top of the wall. His second double of the afternoon. Barney's been great at putting the bat on the ball with 2 strikes.
Yeah, and think about just getting a run in. You got it set up for you here with just 1 out. Make contact.
There's a base hit into center. Smoak's going to come in to score. Travis will stop at third, and another 2-strike hit for Darwin Barney.
You know, nothing spectacular. Just put the bat on the ball. Cut your swing down with 2 strikes. Make contact. He's going to supply the power because he throws so hard. You just make sure your timing is such that you catch it out in front, and that's what he does. Chokes up on the bat. Watch him just slam that ball into center. Travis is thinking about scoring, but it's a 1-out single to center fielder. He's not going to score. Darwin Barney with an RBI.
Jaime Garcia out of this ball game, helplessly sitting on the bench.
2 hard-hit balls off of Ramirez since he has come in now by the Blue Jays.
Ezekiel Carrera squares to bunt, pulls the bat back. Safety squeeze was on.
See the third baseman, Jace Peterson. He was running down the line with the runner. Safety squeeze is you want to get it to the first baseman. Watch Peterson. Here he comes. Follow that runner down the line. If you want a safety squeeze, you want to get it to the right side. You want that first baseman to try and handle it.
Maybe even the second baseman ideally, and you might end up with a base hit. You get it past the pitcher. Carrera bunted. in the third inning, but bunted it too close to the mound, and Jaime Garcia made a play coming off the mound. Big cut on a breaking ball. This is another situation. You talk about bunting it on the right side, but you want to pull it on the right side on the ground too. That's a much tougher ball to turn two on.
Double play, that's right. Plus you've got the right side open with the first baseman holding the runner on. They might try something right here.
Squares again and pops it foul. You don't have to surprise the defense by squaring late. You just square around and put it on the ground. If you bunt it properly, they're not going to be able to make a play.
How far Travis had come down the line. You want to bunt it to that first baseman because he's got to hold that runner at first base. He can't break in like the third baseman can.
Travis at third, Barney at first. Lays off that high pitch. It's a 5-4 ball game. Atlanta with the 1-run lead. 4 runs charged to Garcia so far. That closes the book on him. Upstairs. That's a full count.
A long look down at Luis Rivera.
Devin Travis at third with his second double of the afternoon. Darwin Barney a 2-strike RBI single to center, and now Carrera with a full count.
And Carrera wants to know if that runner's taking off at first base. Let's see if he is.
Ramirez with the 3-2 pitch. There goes the runner. It's stopped on the ground. Here comes Travis. He's going to score, and we are tied. Carrera got just enough of it to pull it to the right side, and Travis comes in to score the tying run.
Good at bat. Fouled off a couple of bunt attempts, and this is going to be just like a bunt right here. You get the run in from third, you get that runner from first base into scoring position, you give yourself up, and you get yourself an RBI.
The 5th run is charged to Ramirez as he gave up the double to Travis. Travis comes in to score. Barney's now at second in scoring position for Goins. Goins has had a good homestand. He's had a home run on this homestand. Had a rough game last night, 0 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts. Base hit right here to erase the memory of that.
All of that. And if Darwin Barney, get yourself a big secondary lead. The outfield is not very deep in left field. They can all throw. Get a big secondary lead, and you're off on the crack of the bat.
Goins hits it in the air to right. Santana's got a bead on it. That ends the inning, but the Blue Jays have tied it up. 2 runs here in the inning on 2 hits and a walk. Devin Travis, 2 more doubles this afternoon. He now has 14, and he has torn it up here in the month of May. 5-5 ball game after 6.
The Rogers Center and CF Toronto Eaton Center are the official team shops for your Toronto Blue Jays. Authentic alternate red cap and jersey available now. Get yours today at select J-Shop locations, jshop.ca, or by calling 1-877-J-Shop.
Thank you very much, Hazel May. New pitcher into the ball game for the Blue Jays is the right-hander Danny Barnes. Barnes has really been a pleasant surprise going back to last year, and he's called up to the big leagues for the first time.
He hasn't pitched in 4 days, so he is well rested. Through an inning and a third. That was the Joe Biagini game back on the 12th, 4 days ago, and just gave up 3 hits and had 3 strikeouts. He has pitched some beautiful ball in the middle of the games. He and Ryan Tepera have really become a bridge to the back end of the bullpen.
Boy, have they ever. They're both capable of multiple innings, and there's Tepera. He's right behind Barnes, loosening up. Number 9 hitter, the shortstop Dansby Swanson. Lifts a high fly ball deep to center. Pilar's on the run. This one's going to go. Swanson's 3rd home run of the season. He connects to retake the lead for Atlanta.
Looked like a changeup from Danny Barnes, and Dansby Swanson gets his 3rd home run. He struck out his first 2 times up against Marco Estrada. Could not figure out his changeup. Well, he got that changeup. There's the grip. It's up. It's a little bit different than Marco's. His has some sink to it. It did not sink, and Swanson has his 3rd home run.
It's the first home run Danny Barnes has surrendered in his big league career. Look out, Todd. Boy, these first 2 games, whenever the Blue Jays score a run trying to get back in a ball game, Atlanta answers with a run of their own in the next half inning.
Isn't that the truth? Yesterday, Blue Jays scored in the 2nd. Braves came back in the top of the 4th.
And Ciarte dribbles it up the first base line, and that will stay foul.
Blue Jays scored a run in the bottom of the 4th. The Braves answered in the top of the 5th. Blue Jays scored in the bottom of the 5th. Braves countered with 4 in the top of the 6th. This afternoon, same thing for John Gibbons' group.
This is the 22nd major league game for Danny Barnes, and that Swanson home run, the first home run he has surrendered. Top of the 7th, Atlanta has retaken the lead at 6-5. There's a fastball for the strikeout, 1 away.
Danny Barnes can use that fastball around the strike zone. Gets this one up. Ciarte cannot catch up to it.
Barnes pulls that fastball off the plate. Brandon Phillips, he might be some of the reason why Marco Estrada was taken out of this game. He was scheduled to hit 3rd, and he has 2 doubles, both coming against Estrada. He's 11 for 28 in his career against Marco, and that might have been part of the reason. Marco was throwing the ball well. He had only thrown 93 pitches, and he had a great 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. In fact, he had retired the last 5 batters he faced after the home run to Freeman.
On a bunch of weak contact and a strikeout. But Phillips has looked pretty good playing second base this afternoon. Brandon wasn't in there in the original lineup as a second baseman.
He was going to be a DH for a 2nd consecutive day, but Adonis Garcia, who played 3rd base in last night's game, came up with a sore Achilles tendon, and he was scratched, and that put a whole bunch of moves in motion. Peterson ends up at 3rd, Phillips back at 2nd, and Markakis is the DH. Good fastball away. Barnes has good command of that outer half of the plate.
Braves also lost one of their players during the game last night. Emilio Bonifacio got sick during the game and missed half of that game. Bartolo Colon says he wasn't feeling that good last night. He had a little bit of a stomach thing going on in the game last night.
Two-two pitch. Line to right. Bautista is there, fighting those lights, and makes a head-high catch. That'll bring Freddie Freeman to the plate. He's homered twice in this series, a 3-run home run and a 2-run homer today. So Freeman turns away and walks back as John Gibbons is going to go to a little bit harder throwing right-hander, seeing if he can't figure out Freddie Freeman. So Tepera will come in, and he's got strikeout capability. Danny Barnes leaves. He retires too after giving up the home run. Freeman catching up with Seitzer on what Tepera features. Atlanta with a 6-5 lead. Into the ballgame with 2 outs here in the 7th, his 17th appearance, and he will face Freddie Freeman, who has homered twice in this series. He's homered in his last at bat that came in the 5th against Marco Estrada. Freeman hit his 14th home run, and he's one of the big sluggers in the National League. When you look at the slugging percentage among National League hitters, Freeman is 3rd.
Look at the power produced by these players this season in the National League. Freddie Freeman right at the top up there at 738. John Gibbons brings in a pitcher who's got a little bit more of a breaking ball, a little bit harder breaking ball, and he's had a little bit more success against lefties this season.
It's that cut fastball for ball 1.
14 home runs, 25 RBIs for Freeman. Ryan Tepera, lefties are 0 for the last 14 against Tepera.
Hitting 129 for the season. So the numbers certainly support this move by Gibbons. 12 strikeouts in 31 at-bats against left-handed hitters for Tepera. Two-seamer off the plate. 2-1. Tepera has really blossomed this season, getting much more pressure-packed situations, and he's responded very well.
He's always had a great arm. Starter in the minor leagues. He's now transitioning into the bullpen. And, you know, you pitch and you pitch successfully, John Gibbons is going to use you in these big situations against the opposition's best hitters.
Three and 1. Boy, what a good pitch. He ran that cutter right in on his fist. Tepera for the season has retired 65% of the first batters he's faced. He didn't have to get real aggressive with Kemp coming up next. He didn't have to really make too good a pitch to Freeman. He can make another good pitch with that cutter. Looks like they're going away. Lined into center. That'll be down in front of Pilar as Freeman stayed on that outside fastball. He's 2 for 4. Now Matt Kemp will come up. He had a 2-run single in the first, and when you look at the middle of these batting orders, the Nationals are tops, then the Braves with Freeman, Kemp, and Markakis 3, 4, and 5 in their batting order.
Well, you saw the slugging percentage where Freeman was second. The first 2 guys were Washington Nationals. That's why they are up there, 3, 4, 5. This is a tough 3 guys you got to deal with. Anytime you got the middle of the lineup, you stack them with your best hitters. Tough to deal with them.
Kemp waves at that first pitch from Tepera. The Nationals 3, 4, 5 hitters: Harper, Zimmerman, and Murphy. Cincinnati, Joey Votto, Adam Duvall, and Eugenio Suarez 3, 4, and 5. And you saw the Blue Jays are 19th in OPS from the 3, 4, and 5 hitters.
Freddie Freeman looked like he wanted to go over there at first base. Freeman's 4 for 6 in stolen bases this year. He was just trying to time up Ryan Tepera, the pitcher, and Ryan held the ball for half a second longer, or Freeman would have been gone.
Tepera ahead of Kemp, 0-2. Luke Mailey's done a terrific job filling in behind the plate. There goes Freeman. Pitches down and in. Mailey's throw is not in time. He was out because he came off the base. That lead leg hit the base, popped off the base, and Travis kept his glove in contact with the base runner. But the Braves are going to have a look at their video. They might challenge this call at second.
It's an aggressive slide by Freeman. He dives into the base. Let's see if the leg does come off and the hand goes on, but does the tag get him? It was quick. That happened quick. He's on. He's off. They're not going to challenge it.
So Freeman is out trying to steal with 2 outs. That leaves Matt Kemp stranded at home plate. Another good throw from Mailey. So 1-run makeup for the Blue Jays. Mailey, Pilar, and Bautista.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the rugged Honda Pioneer Off-Road family. Your adventure begins here.
Welcome back to Toronto inside Rogers Center. It's a 6-5 Braves lead. The catcher Luke Mailey was the scheduled batter. Chris Coughlin will hit for him to start the bottom of the 7th. Mailey 0 for 2 He has now gone 1 for 35. But boy, has he done a nice job catching.
Threw out another base runner right now. Chris Coughlin. He's done this before. He's played in the National League. He knows all about staying ready, being ready to pinch hit.
Well, that was a tough call by Quinn Wolcott down at third. He called Coughlin for the swing. Mike Goldman's got the gear on. He'll catch to start the top half of the 8th. Coughlin needs to get aboard. He has never faced Ramirez. Blue Jays have scored 5 runs on 5 hits. Oh, that looked like it was off the plate. 2-1 now. Now it's 2-2. 6-5 Atlanta. Coughlin for the season batting 184. He has a homer and 3 RBIs. As a pinch hitter, he's 1 for 4. Full count. Cut on and missed. He strikes out. That's how the bottom of the 7th begins.
Pretty good fastball from Ramirez. Looks like they're going to try and stretch him out just a little bit. The closer for Atlanta, if you're wondering, is Jim Johnson.
The former Oriole.
Blue Jays know all about him. It's getting to him. Ramirez has a good start here in the 7th with a strikeout. That's his first since coming into the game.
Kevin Pilar with a double and a home run. He's scored a pair of runs and driven 1 in. Cut fastball at 90 miles an hour.
One of the things that the Atlanta Braves have improved on is fewer pitches per inning from their pitchers and first pitch strikes.
This is Kevin Pilar's time to shine. If you look at the average from the 7th inning on, Pilar's average is 426, second only to Corey Dickerson of the Rays. Mike Trout's hitting 389 and Andrew Benintendi at 381, but Pilar has hit well late in the games. Hits this one in the air, and that's going to stay in the park. Inciarte comes in. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th.
Last season, the Atlanta Braves were 27th in baseball in first pitch strike percentage. This year, they're 4th. Chuck Hernandez, the pitching coach, really stresses first pitch strikes. Let's try and get ahead. You got some veterans now, I think, that's going to help. You got R.A. Dickey over here, and you got Jaime Garcia, and you got Bartolo, who we saw yesterday. Those are all first pitch strike guys, so they're 4th in baseball.
Bautista cuts on that first pitch and fouls it back. Two. The Blue Jays are 6-2 on this homestand. This will wrap up the 9-game homestand. The Blue Jays have hit 11 home runs, hit 12 home runs counting today in the 8 games. Bautista hits it off the end of the bat. Swanson hits short in time, and the Blue Jays are retired in order in the bottom of the 7th. Will go to the 8th, 6-5 Atlanta. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Tuesday afternoon game here at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays have scratched and clawed their way back. They tied it up in the bottom of the sixth. Atlanta scored a run on a home run by Dansby Swanson in the top of the seventh, and that's where we stand now, 6-5 Braves. Mike Ullman takes over behind the plate as Luke Maile was lifted for the pinch hitter Coghlan. Kemp was at the plate when Maile threw out Freddie Freeman to end the top half of the seventh. Ryan Tepera came in and gave up a base hit to Freeman, but then Maile threw him out to end the inning. He has really improved his arsenal of pitches, and for a long time it was like, is he ever going to really turn things around? But he has mastered his pitches now.
He would overthrow. He would try and throw that perfect slider and try to overthrow it. He'd yank it out of the strike zone and try to make the adjustment on the fly. Now he's just letting it happen. You can see how he's staying back and staying in his lanes, as Pete Walker likes to talk about, and the slider is a great pitch for him.
He is such an important part of this bullpen with Joe Biagini now in the starting rotation, and Kemp just waves at that nasty breaking ball. Another strikeout for Tepera. 24 strikeouts for Ryan, as Biagini will start tomorrow in Atlanta. Mike Bolsinger's going to get another start. He'll start in Baltimore against the Orioles. Nick Markakis is the DH this afternoon. Just the second time he's DH'd. He was the DH against Houston on the 10th of May.
This is where you see a lot of the improvement from Ryan, handling the lefties. That hit he gave up to Freddie Freeman snapped an 0 for 14 lefties against Tepera. First hit that he'd given up to a lefty at 15 at bats. His two-seam sinker is going away from those lefties now. And he says, I can pitch with my four-seamer. Not afraid to challenge those hitters with it.
Ball on his strike to Markakis. Off the plate. Interleague play is really a hindrance to National League teams when they come into American League ballparks to have a DH, and they're not used to DHing. Basically, it's 4 pinch hitting appearances a day. Markakis serves this one into right.
I think the American League teams are at more of a disadvantage going to National League ballparks to their teams than National League teams coming here. But no worries with Nick Markakis. He can handle it. He's done it before.
Marco Estrada started this ball game for the Blue Jays. He threw 93 pitches, and once again he had a little trouble in the first. He gave up a 2-run single to Matt Kemp in the first inning, but he sorted things out. He didn't walk a batter, struck out 5 over his 6 innings. Danny Barnes followed. He gave up a home run to Dansby Swanson, and now Ryan Tepera. That hit him. Tyler Flowers gets hit by the pitch. The Braves were hit 5 times in the game last night.
Looked like the catcher, Mike Ullman, got hit on this ricochet. Two-seam fastball up, off the hands, and then off the face mask.
Now you reach in to catch that ball that's inside, and then it hits the batter, gets deflected, and you're helpless. You can see it just got him pretty squarely on the mask. So now there are runners at first and second. Danny Santana, the right fielder, 0 for 3.
You know, it looked, Buck, like it went off the mask and then off of Mike's hand, his bare hand that's sitting there. That's why the reaction was a little bit more than I thought. When the play first happened, when it went off his mask, I said, well, what's the big deal? Well, it went off his bare hand.
There's that good breaking ball. Ryan throws a cutter and a slider, and they're really hard to tell apart. The slider has a little more depth on it. It breaks down and in a little bit more to the lefties. But he throws them equally effectively.
Cutter a little bit harder than the slider.
Markakis at second. It's chased back by Tepera. Blue Jays have grounded into the only double play turned here this afternoon. Kendrys Morales in the bottom of the first. High fly ball to center. Pilar's backing up. Markakis is halfway between second and third, and he'll stay there. Arodys Vizcaíno, another hard-throwing right-hander. Remember, Jim Johnson, the former Oriole, is the closer for Atlanta. We've not seen him in this short 2-game series. Johnson is 6 for 8 in save opportunities. Two outs for the third baseman, Jace Peterson. These are big base runners for the Blue Jays to keep them from scoring. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th, Morales, Smoak, and the red-hot Devin Travis. Love to keep it a one-run game.
That's why the infielders are right on that cut of the grass, or even in the outfield grass. Anything on the ground, they got to knock it down and keep it on the infield. Devin Travis, you see him at second base. He's actually out on the outfield grass. Same thing with Goins. Outfield not too terribly deep for Jace Peterson, so there's a chance they could get that runner on a hard single into the outfield.
2-0 pitch. Drops that cutter on it. 89 miles an hour. That's truly the cutter. You can see it's a little bit harder than that slider, but both of them are very effective pitches.
Another good one right underneath his bat. I don't think he wants to go 3-2 with 2 outs, runners on base, so this is a big pitch here. You want to end this at bat right here.
2 outs. Markakis singled. He's at second. Flowers hit by a pitch. He's running from first. It will be a full count. 2 outs. The infielders reminding themselves that the runners will be moving. Markakis will take off from second. Flowers from first. So the infielders might not have a chance for a force out. Number 9 hitter Swanson on deck. There's no activity in the Blue Jays bullpen.
This is all yours, Brian. Take them yourself.
Here's the pitch. Another cutter, and he fouls it off. This Braves team has played the Blue Jays tough. They certainly don't look like a 14-21 team. Offensively, they've got a lot of good hitters in their lineup.
They keep coming after you. Blue Jays get close. Atlanta has an answer. Blue Jays score another run. Braves the first 2 games here have been tough outs, especially with 2 outs. They've had a few 2-out hits these first couple of games.
Mike Coleman with the sign. There go the runners. Hit hard. Smoak knocks it down. Pilar is there just in time. Nice play by Smoak at first. Takes a hit away from Jace Peterson. And the Braves are going to have the umpires hold the team up. Blue Jays are making their way off the field. Bang, bang at first to Pilar. Stretching for the base. Peterson with the head first slide. And that is close. His right hand looked like it was ahead of his left hand, but his right hand didn't touch first base. Another look at it. Pilar. Ball's a little bit behind him. You'd like to see that ball ahead of the pitcher. Too much dirt and chalk flying up there to see anything.
You're right about the right hand, that it was ahead of the left hand, but it never got to the base. It's the left hand. This should be definitive. Not enough evidence to overturn that one.
Nope, there was no clear-cut evidence in my mind. Jace Peterson standing near the first base bag. The umpires going through the procedure, listening to New York. Everybody's on the phone.
Blue Jays are on the phone to their pen. They got some action going down there. Umpires back to New York to try and find out definitively if he is out or safe. I don't know how you overturn this.
Yeah, they have to have enough evidence to overrule the call on the field. So they're taking a long time because it was close. They uphold the call. Pilar gets out of it. Smoak with a terrific defensive play keeps it a 1-run game. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zahn from the Samsung broadcast studio.
Are perfect for entertaining clients, having corporate functions, or outings with family and friends. You can entertain from 16 to 300 guests. Our account executives will find the package that best suits your needs. Call 416-341-1635 or bluejays.com/luxury suites. To the bottom of the 8th, Buck and Pat.
Thank you very much, Hazel May. Buck Martinez along with Pat Tabler here. We are in the bottom of the 8th. New pitcher into the ball game. Arodys Vizcaíno in his 17th game.
This is another ex-Yankee right here. Another Yankee free agent signing by the Braves. First time was back in December of 2009. He's another one with those big arms, with a big arm fastball. He's touched 100 before. Basically, two-pitch pitcher coming out of that bullpen. Fastball, slider.
He last pitched on Saturday in Miami. There's a line drive base hit. Morales starts it off with a leadoff single here in the 8th. Blue Jays couldn't do a thing with the sinker ball, but they're jumping all over that hard fastball.
And the harder it is, the better they like it. Two-seam fastball away. Morales doesn't try and pull it, just goes the other way. Now he will be lifted for a pinch runner as he picks on that first pitch. Lines it into left field.
So Morales gets his first hit of the afternoon. He leaves the game in favor of the pinch runner. He finishes up 1 for 4. The pinch runner is the newly called up Daryl Siciliani. Siciliani got a lot of action in the spring, but this is his first appearance with the Blue Jays this season. Smoak batting left-handed for the first time this afternoon. He has walked twice and scored twice, officially 0 for 1. Home run cut. Smokey with 8 home runs. He has walked, as we mentioned, twice, and Devin Travis both times has doubled right behind him. Outside.
This guy in there's got a live arm. He's given up 3 home runs this year. He gave up back-to-back home runs against Philadelphia. He did that back on April 23rd. Since then, he has had scoreless baseball in 6 straight outings.
One to Smoak. Gets out in front of that off-speed pitch and hooks it into the seats. Smoak in the 9th inning with a man aboard against Josh Colmenter in last night's game.
Catch it out in front, which he did. That was his 8th home run. A couple more RBIs. Wouldn't that be nice to do that here?
The Blue Jays have been the masters of late game home runs. They have hit 22 home runs in the 7th inning or later. That's the most in the American League. Siciliani is going to move up on the wild pitch. Gets himself into scoring position. Nobody out.
Good read. Breaking ball, you take your secondary lead, you see that thing in the dirt, take off. Tough for a catcher to recover, find the baseball, and then throw you out. If you've got any kind of speed, you should be in scoring position. Now he's there with nobody out.
Get him over, get him in. That's the mantra here for Smoak. Smoak has 15 RBIs in his last 17 games. Breaking ball. Well, I tell you what, you talk about the improvement of Smoak. He lays off those tough pitches with 2 strikes. Siciliani in scoring position. In as a pinch runner. Another walk. 3 walks for Smoak today.
Buck hitting coach Brooke Jacoby watched videos of Devin Travis from 2015 and noticed that Travis was creeping up in the box a little bit. So they made the adjustment in positioning, moving Travis back to where he should be. Now you'll see Travis has backed off the plate, and it'll give him a little bit more room, and it's made him now aware of the strike zone much better. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel.
He actually took some tracing paper and put it on the video board and made a mark where Travis was standing earlier this year. and then did the same thing last year when he was off the plate and showed him, and Devin wasn't even really short. Now he marks it with his bat to let him know where his front foot should be and where his back foot should be, and that helps him to gauge where he is in the batter's box.
Travis has doubled twice this afternoon. To left center in the 4th, to right center in the 6th. He has hit 9 doubles on this homestand. This is the 9th game. Up over 200 at 206.
The Braves think he's going to bunt. Freddie Freeman is in. Chase Peterson, the third baseman, is in.
And he squares to bunt and bunts at it foul.
That is tough to ask a guy who's not real familiar with bunting like that, especially the way he's been swinging it.
Blue Jays don't bunt a lot, but the tying runner is at second. The go-ahead runner is at first. Nobody out. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Chase Peterson keeping his eye on Siciliani at second. He squares early. Pulls the bat back.
Freddie Freeman is crashing hard from first base. That anything on the ground, Freeman thinks he can go get it, even if it's on the third base side.
The Blue Jays have 9 sacrifice bunts this season. Travis has 1. Here comes Freeman. He poked at it and missed. Boy, Freddie Freeman is almost in the lane between the mound and home plate by the time that ball gets to home. Now he's going to back up.
Crashing hard. Watch him. As soon as he squares early, he's coming hard. You want to bunt it to the third base side. Like Freddie was going to field that ball wherever it was bunted.
Cut on and missed. So Travis, after failing to get the bunt down, strikes out. Darwin Barney. Barney had an RBI single his last time up. Off the plate. 99, but a little wide.
They got some power now at the back end of that bullpen. Ramirez was throwing hard. He gave him an inning and 2/3. When a guy throws this hard, all you got to do is time it up and make sure you catch it out in front.
Line to Phillips, and that's going to end the inning. Siciliani is doubled up on the line drive to second. A great opportunity. First and second, nobody out, and the Blue Jays can't cash in. Barney hit a line drive to the second baseman, Brandon Phillips, who calmly flips to Swanson to end the inning. Honda, official vehicle of the Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Dansby Swanson struck out twice against Marco Estrada. Marco was out of there in the 7th inning, and he picks on Danny Barnes' second pitch, a changeup. I'm going to drive this ball out of the ballpark here to center field. That is our drive of the game. It's also the difference in the game as Swanson hits his 3rd home run of the season. And that's where we sit as we head to the 9th inning.
Swanson will lead things off, and he'll face a new pitcher, Joe Smith, the side armor, making his 20th appearance.
Joe Smith has been money for the Blue Jays this year. 20 games already. Doesn't have a record, but he has an ERA of 2. Just 18 innings and 26 strikeouts.
His command has been spot on. He gets ahead of Swanson with that slider. Tepera goes an inning and a third. He gives up 2 hits, no runs, and had a strikeout. Swanson with a 1-1 count. Smith starts that breaking ball off the plate inside and catches the corner.
Looks like that's all he's going to feature for the young hitter. That's 3 in a row.
Should have thrown him one more. Swanson gets another base hit. Does a nice job. He had homered in his last at bat, and he gets on that fastball and hits it past Smoak into right.
Thought he was going to throw him one more. He gave him something to hit. He was late on it. He got it to right field. Fastball in. A little bit tardy, a little bit behind it, so he singles to right field. Now Inciarte's already had a bunt hit. He might try and do something here. Bunt him over, hit and run.
Goes after the first pitch and rips it into center. Swanson stops at second. Back-to-back hits against Smith here in the 9th. It's a pesky Braves lineup. They just keep coming at you. Braves had 13 hits last night. They have 13 hits this afternoon. Pete Walker again on the phone to the bullpen. Dane Johnson will get another arm ready. Roberto Osuna. Osuna hasn't pitched since Saturday. Brandon Phillips hits it to third. Barney to second for 1. Travis to first. Double play. A tailor-made 5-4-3 double play. And Smith gets 2 quick outs after 2 singles to start the inning.
Just what the doctor ordered right there. You always have to worry about the middle of the lineup with the Atlanta Braves coming up. 2 singles, a ground ball double play, and now you got to take the bat out of the hand of Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman has been waved down to first with the intentional walk. Swanson is at third. Gibbons looks like he's made the call. Osuna, I didn't see him get up earlier. He may have been throwing, but he made the call, and I've just been told that he was up earlier. So it looks like he's going to go to Osuna here. Gibbons made the same type of move in the 7th with Freddie Freeman at the plate. He called upon Ryan Tepera to get him out of the 7th, and Tepera gave up a single, but then Freeman, trying to steal second, was thrown out to end the inning. So Osuna will come out of the bullpen to face Matt Kemp with runners at first and third in this 1-run game. Roberto Osuna comes into this ball game. It's a 6-5 Atlanta lead. Osuna in his 16th game, last pitched on Saturday.
An inning, and he's been throwing the ball much better, attacking hitters. And there's that beautiful whip at 0.8. He was giving up some base runners earlier this season, but he has found his fastball again, has found his fastball command, and John Gibbons has gone to him to get out of this inning, see if the Blue Jays can win it at the bottom of the inning.
Saturday's game was a 7-2 win, and Osuna came in with runners at first and second and nobody out. That slider just off the end of Kemp's bat. Osuna will get Nelson Cruz to bounce into a double play and get Kyle Seager to fly out to end the 9th inning and secure the win. High fly ball deep to right. Pilar is on the run at the track. That ball is off the wall. Swanson's in to score. Here comes Freeman. Here's the throw to the plate. It is not in time. Matt Kemp has had a big 2 games here. He drives in 4 this afternoon.
The Blue Jays just have not been able to figure out Matt Kemp in the first 2 games in this series. He threw him a beautiful breaking ball for strike 1 and then hung this one to Kemp, and he's got some power to right field. This one off the wall is going to drive him 2 more runs. It's now a 3-run game.
And Nick Markakis, he's 2 for 4. 14 hits now for Atlanta.
They have come up with so many big 2-out hits in this series so far.
They were 7 for 14 in yesterday's game with runners in scoring position. Freddie Freeman has homered. Kemp has 2 hits and driven in 4. Tell you what a potent 3, 4, and 5 this is for the Braves, and they have shown that here in these first 2 games of this home and home 4-game series. This is the type of offense that we expected to see with the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners managed just 6 runs in 4 games against the Blue Jays pitching.
Great pitching, sweeping that 4 games. Dansby Swanson got this inning started with a base hit. 2 strikes.
Markakis gets jammed on that inside fastball. Eight 5 Atlanta. They won last night's game 10-6. Bartolo Colon, the winning pitcher, his 2nd win of the season. Just off the outside corner. 2-2 now to Markakis. Another base hit for Markakis. Kemp's being waved around third. Here's the throw from Carrera. Not in time, and Markakis keeps moving into second. Nick Markakis, another 3-hit game. He had 2 hits in the game last night, and he drives in the 9th Braves run.
And another 2-out base hit. Slider once again. He goes out, digs it out. You see he's choked up on the bat. We've seen Markakis do that over the years, just slicing the ball into the outfield. Carrera's going to overthrow everybody. He's got to get him at the plate. But when the ball gets by Omen, Markakis can move up, just trades places.
Tyler Flowers 1 for 3. He's Yankees late on that first pitch.
That's Terry Pendleton, the bench coach, talking to his young shortstop Dansby Swanson. This time they're talking about hitting.
It's a high pop up into the outfield. Travis going back. Pilar calls him off. The center fielder makes the catch. But Atlanta scores 3 runs in the top of the 9th to make it a 9-5 Braves lead.
Fans tonight, it's Hockey Central Stanley Cup Playoffs edition. The inside story of the NHL postseason from the exclusive home of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Hockey Central pregame on Sportsnet, presented by Huawei smartphones.
Thank you very much, Hazel May. We have made it to the bottom of the 9th, and this is the closer. Jim Johnson in a non-save situation.
Get him up, you got to bring him in. It was a save situation until they scored those 3 runs in the top of the inning. 14 games for big Jim Johnson. He's 6 for 8 in save opportunities. He's only given up 1 run over his last 6 appearances for the Braves. In fact, he's retired 16 of the 18 batters he's faced over his last 6 outings.
Ezequiel Carrera will lead things off, and Johnson is a sinker ball closer. Gets ahead with that fastball.
Tell you what, he comes right after you, challenges you. Fastball, breaking ball. That's basically what you're going to get from Johnson. He'll challenge you to get on board.
0-2. Look out. 1-2.
Challenges you. He's only walked 3 batters all season long. So you got to hit your way on to beat this guy.
Ground ball. Phillips near the bag at second. Goes to first in time. 1 away.
Jim had those great years when he was with the Baltimore Orioles. High save seasons in Baltimore.
Then he had some problems with injuries, and he had a couple of rough stretches, and now he's sorted things out a bit back with the Atlanta Braves. Ryan Goins, the shortstop, is 0 for 3. Blue Jays have 5 runs on 6 hits. Pilar's got a double and a home run. Kendrys Morales had a single. Devin Travis has 2 doubles, and Darwin Barney a single. Just foul. It sliced foul down the left field line. The Blue Jays tied the game at 5-5 in the bottom of the 6th, and the Braves came right back and took the lead on Dansby Swanson's leadoff home run in the 7th. That home run was surrendered by Danny Barnes, who gave up his first home run in the big leagues to Dansby Swanson, the young shortstop.
First home run in 111 batters faced. Just his second extra base hit this year given up by Barnes.
Owens hits it up the middle. There's Swanson, the shortstop. 2 down. I want to remind you that these two teams will play once again tomorrow down in Atlanta. Joe Biagini will start for the Blue Jays and be opposed by Mike Foltynewicz, the hard-throwing right-hander. It all starts at 6:30. That's the pregame show with Jamie Campbell. Excuse me, it's a 7 o'clock pregame show tomorrow. Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. There's Foltynewicz. That's 4 o'clock Eastern time. That's the pregame show.
First pitch, 7:35.
Mike Ullman in his first plate appearance, coming in defensively in the 8th, gets a 2-out single to keep things going.
I tell you, he was excited about his first big league hit the other day. Asked him where the ball was. He said, it's in my locker. It's all sealed up. It's ready to be sent home. Well, he just got his second big league hit.
He had that RBI single in the 4th inning in last night's game. So Kevin Pilar, he's 2 for 4 with a double and a home run. Johnson is now 33 years old. He spent 8 seasons with the Orioles. Then he went to Oakland, had a rough time with the A's, a 7.14 earned run average. But his last 2 seasons with Atlanta have been fruitful. Had 20 saves last year. Pilar hits it on the ground, and this should do it. Peterson across the diamond, and that's the ball game. The Braves have won the first 2 games of this home and home 4-game series. They scored 9 runs on 15 hits.
Scrappy. 10 runs yesterday, 13 hits, 9 more today. Seems like whenever the Blue Jays would creep a little bit closer or tie the game, they always had an answer, at least for the first 2 games in this 4-game series.
Well, they'll change sites. They'll play at SunTrust Park tomorrow night. We'll be with you. Make sure you tune in. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Here's Tim and Sid.